Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a legal showdown that could seriously shake up the way you buy or sell a house. So let's get right into it.
So, who's really in charge when a house goes on the market? You'd think that'd be simple, right? Is it the homeowner, the real estate agent, maybe the big database that lists all the homes? Well, believe it or not, that very question is sparking a huge legal battle.
And here's the headline. A federal judge just gave a massive lawsuit the green light. And this isn't just any lawsuit. We're talking about a new school brokerage, Compass, going head-to-head with one of the old guards of real estate, the multiple listing service.
All right, let's start with what just happened. A federal judge has basically said, yep, this lawsuit can go on. We're talking about the antitrust case that Compass filed against the Northwest Multiple Listing Service, or NWMLS, in Washington state. And let me tell you, this is a big deal.
Okay, let's break this down. Back on March 19th, Judge Jamal Whitehead shot down the NWMLS's request to just throw the case out. And the reason why is super important. He said Compass's claims were plausible. Now, in lawyer speak, that's a huge win. It doesn't mean Compass has won the whole thing, not at all. But it does mean the judge thinks their argument has enough merit to actually go to trial.
So, to really get what this is all about, we gotta rewind a bit. This whole thing kicked off because of a major disagreement over one simple thing. How should you be allowed to market a house? And that leads us to a pretty controversial strategy. The entire fight is about this thing called an office exclusive. So picture this. Instead of putting a house on the main public market, the MLS, right away, an agent first markets it only to other agents inside their own company. It's kind of like a secret pre-sale. The idea is to build some hype, maybe even find a buyer before it goes wide.
And this is exactly what Compass was doing. They had this three-step playbook. First, they'd do some pre-marketing to get some early buzz going. Then, step 2, they'd list it as a private office exclusive just for Compass agents. And only after all that is the final step would they put it on the public NWMLS for everyone to see. And that is the exact strategy the NWMLS is trying to shut down.
So now we're at the heart of it all. This is basically a philosophical throwdown. What's more important? Letting companies compete with new, innovative strategies, or making sure the market is totally transparent for everyone?
Okay, so here's the breakdown. In one corner, you've got Compass saying, hey, your rules are anti-competitive. You're stopping us from trying new things, and, more importantly, you're making us violate our legal duty to our clients. But in the other corner, the NWMLS fires back, saying, no, our rules are actually pro-competitive. They create a level playing field for everyone. They basically call these exclusive listings self-dealing, implying it only helps the brokerage, not the seller. And you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Compass CEO Robert Refkin puts it this way. An agent's primary legal duty is to their client, the seller, period, not to the MLS. So if a seller thinks this exclusive strategy is best for them, their agent should be able to do it without getting smacked with a fine from the MLS. But then, you flip the coin. The head of the NWMLS says, hold on a second. He argues this has nothing to do with seller choice. He's basically saying, how does it help a seller to hide their house from most potential buyers? It doesn't. He claims it's all about the brokerage trying to get an advantage. It's a really strong counterpunch, all about protecting the average person. Okay, so just when you think you've got this figured out, plot twist. A huge wildcard gets thrown into the mix. While all this legal drama was unfolding, politicians in Washington state were quietly passing a brand new law that tackles this exact issue.
And this new law doesn't pull any punches. It basically says you can't do these office exclusives anymore. If you're going to market a home to a private little group, you have to simultaneously market it to everyone, everywhere. Which, if you think about it, sounds an awful lot like it sides with the NWMLS, right?
And check out the timing on this. It's wild. On March 16th, the governor signs the new law. Then, get this, just 3 days later, the judge gives the green light to Compass's lawsuit, which is fighting against the very thing this new law seems to mandate. The whole thing gets even crazier because the law doesn't even kick in until June 11th. Talk about confusing.
So what now? Well, the lawsuit is definitely moving forward. But with this new state law hanging over everyone's head, the future is, let's just say, incredibly murky.
And this is a really important point. We need to be clear about what the judge's decision actually means. He wasn't picking a winner. He was just saying, this isn't a frivolous lawsuit. It means he thinks there's a real, legitimate legal argument here that needs to be properly heard in a courtroom. That's it. All right, let's wrap this up with the key things you need to remember. 1. The lawsuit is happening. Compass versus the NWMLS is officially on. 2. This is all about market fairness versus a brokerage's freedom to strategize.
And 3, and this is the big one, there's a new state law that's a total wild card and could upend the whole thing.
And all of this leaves us with one massive question. Yeah, this is happening in Washington state, but the ideas at the core of this fight, we're talking competition, innovation, transparency, they apply to the entire country. So could the final decision in this one case actually ripple outwards and reshape how every single home in America is sold? You better believe we'll be watching to find out.